And when you take up a job, either you take up a job after MBA or directly after the college, you realize, oh my God, this is not something I wanted to come at all. The school was the best, college was better, okay, and this. Do you know why this difference keeps coming up? Actually, Mr. Yuvraj was explaining something similar. It's very kind of very relative. Your point keeps changing. Point of the biggest thing that I feel why this difference keeps coming in. When I was at school, my parents used to take decisions for me. I was very happy. I don't have to take that tough call. College, it was a middle way. Some decisions I used to take, some decisions my parents used to take. Happy. Job, okay. Everything is on me. And after a while, apart from me, my family's thing is also on me now. And then this whole thing of niti goes back, and I say, okay, fine, if I have to do this, let me keep this aside. Let me keep the nitis aside, let me keep the dharmas aside. And because I have to fulfill some of those responsibilities, right? Please understand, keeping these basics aside will never make us successful. And the only thing which is going to make you successful, if you stick to these basics, rest things will keep falling in place. May not happen the same day, the same time, it may take some time, but the kind of fulfilling satisfaction you keep getting when you actually you follow some of these selflessly, you realize that okay, fine, it's okay. Mujhe nahi mila na, that's fine, but I'm happy. I'm sure you have gone through n number of times things like this, or you help somebody, and there are many examples. You must have seen videos of one marathon runner. I've seen that video, WhatsApp video you would have got. There was this race going on, then there's this one person who falls. The person who was about to win, he goes back, makes that person stand, takes him to the final line, but in this whole process, he loses the race. Did he lose the race? Probably, for that medal, yes. But then that person runs so many hearts, and the kind of satisfaction that he would have, in fact, he would still cherish that. Probably this would have happened from 20 years ago. He still cherished that. So this satisfaction, no money can buy this. So, yeah. There's something that took sense to start with.
I know. I think you are getting the gist of what we are discussing here. What is Nitishashtram that we are discussing here. It is basically, Samarpanshastra is basically sustainable success, which Manav sir just said. Sustainable. अभी का success is momentary success. जैसे exam में मन करता है ना, copy कर लेते हैं, अच्छा marks मिल जाएगा. होता है ना? सबके थोड़े बहुत लोग के नाम लिखे. You all know what I'm talking about. But long run में कहीं ना कहीं वो एक छोटा सा दाग आपके दिल में छोड़ जाता है कि मैंने कुछ गलत किया. आपको लग रहा है कि मैं बहुत स्मार्ट था, but वो एक दाग छोड़ जाता है. वो आहिस्ता कैंसर हो जाता है. जो बहुत सारे दाग हो जाते हैं अपने अंदर. और वो दाग अगर नहीं होता है ना, तो वो आपके कैरेक्टर को इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग बिल्ड करता है कि छोड़ो रहने दो, गलत काम नहीं करना है. वो कैरेक्टर इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग होता है कि वो सस्टेनेबल सक्सेस आगे जाके आपको ऐसा सक्सेस देगा जो कि आप नहीं सोच सकते. छोटे से सक्सेस को पाने के लिए आपको गलत काम करना है. This is what he was discussing. What are your views of how you see these concepts applying to our students, and what do you think?
Happy morning to all of you. I hope everybody is awake and just don't play with your mobiles. Since for the next 16 weeks, I think you should focus on and learn the experience, what the experience that we have got. When we were at your age, we never got this opportunity. Crime seeking. Even I was a student of Mumbai University, but in the university as well, we never had a specialized topics wherein it can inculcate the core values within us, right? All of us are a great believer of your parents, or you follow somebody in your career, in your profession as well as in the college. So what comes to your mind when it comes to as a mind as a word, right? So for her, it will be different things and different thought process. For her, it will be different, and for Manu as well as her, it will be different. But according to me, what is mind is altogether we need meaningful internal dialogues that you keep in consistent desire that you would like to grow on, right? Be it with any case. So that's how I define mind as. But it's really, predominantly it is very different and act in a different manner, right? First of all, when we enter in the hall, everybody was super excited and have a clap and all that, right? But we need to keep our mind in such a stable environment throughout the start to end. We should be focused and we should keep those things in mind. So that is all about mind. So now heart, it is one of the organ in the body, right? Each one of us has a heart, right? But then how do you define one heart, right? You cannot define. I just think as Manu was giving an example of marathon. Happy to share I'm a marathon runner, and when I started my journey as a marathon, right? Way back in 2007-8, I was literally, thinking, no, it is not my cup of tea. But actually, I proudly say that with the consistent mind, full efforts and purpose to identify, I completed close to 23 marathons to 21 kilometers, right? So everything is possible with that now. So healing towards your inner thought process and resilience that to have within a temple within us, right? All of us think through some thought comes to the mind and it goes to heart, and then you make a final decision over it. First of all, thanks for Dr. Meenakshi as well as Saurabh for inviting me. I'm great to see the known industry friends on our meeting from long time, and great to see Dr. Rajendra Hiranand, and would love to know more of his journey. So all of you are learning. Similar way, we are also learning from you. So looking forward to valuable contribution. Thank you.
I announced my. No, no, side way. No, no, no. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Wake up. It's a wake up call for all of you and for all of us as well. First of all, I would like to thank Yuvraj, Saurabh, Dr. Meenakshi, and the entire institute for really finding this amazing way of Nitishashtram. Right? I mean, trust me, guys, we know the stories, right? All of you have seen Mahabharata and Ramayana, right? Oh, yeah, right? That's the truth. Exactly, right? But that's the truth of life.
तुम लोग को नहीं पता हम लोग वेट करते थे संडे को सुबह
I will come to that later, guys. But trust me, right now, what we are doing in our corporate life is all about the values, right? Values, so this is start with there, right? And that's something we should be trying implementing day in, day out in our life. And trust me, it is a circus. It is a circus. When you put together what you want to achieve with basis of Nitishashtram and adding to it Samarpanshastra, what is this all about? To me, if you ask me personally, this is the foundation of each and everybody's life on which this entire building is going to stand. If your foundation is not going to be solid, your building will get collapsed. You will reach different heights altogether. Today we are here. Few years back, as Smita mentioned it, we were there. We were looking forward to teach here and give our contributions to the next generation. Right? But one important line is, without Nitishashtram, we are nowhere. What it talks about? Ethics, values. Right? And that's why I say it is a foundation of everybody's life. All of us are sitting here, right? We will talk about it, but we would love to give you real-time examples and my personal thing, and which I have been talking about it to Raj as well, that let's make it more interactive. We want you to come forward, ask questions to us, and try and find answers for yourself. This is the only opportunity you will get to interact with all of us. And by the way, no question is free question. So don't even hesitate to ask anything to us, right? Coming back to the topics, right? Now, Samarpan is what? Samarpan is something like giving away. To me, it is 100% devotion to something what you do. We all play different roles in our life, right? Today I am playing different role, tomorrow I will be playing different role.
When you are at home, you play different role. When you're outside with your friends, you play different role altogether. But in whichever situation you are in, with the right cause, you need to put that 100% devotion, and that's what is called in Samarpanshastra. With this note, again, I would like to thank the entire institute for thinking about this amazing initiative, which are not heard right now in any institute, which we are going back, right? Many areas like learning same thought process. We are trying to inculcate the same behavior, same thought process within us so that we can give again back to the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. बात करें इस डेडिकेशन कंप्लीट सरेंडर टू सर्टेन कॉज जैसे अगर हम अदर एक बहुत एयर लेकर आते हैं कि हम बहुत अच्छे स्टूडेंट थे फर्स्ट रैंक में थे ग्रेजुएशन में हम बहुत मार्क्स थे तो ऑलरेडी मेरे पास एक बैगेज है तो मैं अगर वही एयर तैयारी करते हुए आगे सीखने की कोशिश करूंगी तो ये नॉट एबल टू लर्न एनीथिंग तो आपको सरेंडर कर सकते यही चीज पहले हमारे गुरुकुल में कहा जाता था जब हम जाते थे हमें गुरुकुल कल्चर to your teacher, you have to surrender. Surrender एक शब्द है तो आपने उठा दे दिया that is what is surrender. Whatever it is, I am zero in front of that person, and that is where you start learning. अगर मैं 100% सोचूंगी मैं 100% तो फिर मुझे तो गुंजाइश ही नहीं है तो सीखने की. So that is where surrender is. First is you surrender, and second is you surrender to certain cause. Your cause is to really educate yourself, to learn, to have values in you and become a great person and great professional. This is where you have to be completely dedicated and you have to surrender to this cause. This is what Malavi ma'am is trying to mention. And going further, a lot of detailed discussion on these topics. We have two very interesting pedagogy that we have where we will be discussing this. First is our talk with Saurabh sir and Virana sir. Will have mutually trying to talk it out, trying to understand this concept in depth and personalized feeling about this particular concept is what will come across to you. So we are starting this power talk right now with Saurabh sir and Virana sir, and later on we'll be having panel discussion with Madhav sir, Pallavi ma'am, and Smita ma'am and Yuvraj sir. We'll be having a panel discussion on where we'll try to talk it out. What are certain concepts in life and Nitishashtram. So great. So I would request Pallavi ma'am, Smita ma'am, and Manu sir, we all head out and we'll be part of hearing between two. And by the way, Manu sir said, यहाँ पे 200 साल का experience बैठा था इस डायस पे. Big round of applause. So this is the kind of experience that is there. So believe students try to gain as well as possible questions to show. Personalized questions भी हो सकते हैं. I know my girls they are all laughing.
Thank you, Rashima. Thank you, esteemed panel, for enlightening today's day. 27th April 2024 was a turning point day in my life. 27th April 2024 is when Dr. Rajendra Hiramat was introduced to me as an individual. We were fortunate that, through coincidence, he came to our house. He came to my in-laws' house in Kalingas. He was part of an event there, and he visited us. And I would say that was a turning point for my life. 28th April, evening 7:45, is when we went to meet Dr. Rajendra Hiramat for the first time. And I could not but only admire the journey he had over these years. Coming from an extremely small village, coming from a very humble background to where he is today, and I have a list of awards which I'm going to read out. In life, we keep thinking about, I don't have this, I don't, I'm so much in problems, life is unfair with me. I have not been able to do this. You did not give me this. You did not give me that. But when we come across celebrities like Dr. Rajendra Hidermani, our problems look to be minuscule because he never looked at the problems. He never looked at the humble background he started. He never looked from where he came. But he looked at what he can do, how he can impact not his life, but the life around him. And I think a few of the accolades which I will talk about. The Government of India, Ministry of Social Welfare and Justice, bestowed upon him the National Award for Excellence and Contribution to the society at the hands of the President of India and Vivian Gavan. He is recipient of the Atal Shakti Puraskar at the hands of former Chief Minister of Maharashtra and the current Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Honorable Devendra Fadnavis. Prabhat Seva Marshal Pune honored him with Prabhat Seva Puraskar at the hands of Sadhvi Rutam Devi. He was transferred with Mukha Chitranath Kohli Zid Puraskar. He is recipient of many other awards like Apurva Kalyan Puraskar, Renuacharya Puraskar, Bhargav Shri Bhushan Puraskar, Manipal Desai Puraskar, etc. He is been a part of the Board of Governors of College of Engineering Pune. He is currently the chairman of COEP Bhau Institute of Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Leadership. He is currently the serving chairman of one of the most successful cooperative banks in Maharashtra, that is Jan Seva Sahakari Bank. He is member Board of Governors of Holy College of Engineering Pune and SG Balipur Institute of Technology, Belgavi. He is on the Committee of Commerce and Management Faculty, Auditorium, Pune University. He is advisor and mentor to many social organizations NGOs in and around Pune. And the cherry on the cake, he has institutionalized Madhu Shakti Puraskar in remembrance of his mother Parvati Guru Patya to appreciate the efforts of independent self-made mothers who have set an example by fighting against the wars and proved their mettle. I think it is our honor that we get to know to and I feel fortunate to have known him a little closely. And I would say that the last 6 months have been inspirational, have been life-changing for me and my family. And I thank God and thank my father-in-law for introducing us to this amazing personality. And thank you, sir, for helping us understand your perspective. So my first question to you, and it's a privilege that I get to ask you questions. And as a student, I don't mind sitting on the floor and listening to what you would say. So this is like a guru talking to his disciple, and I'm sure each of us sitting in this room have the same feeling. I might be a little emotional in the entire conversation, but then this is what I genuinely feel, and I submit to you my feelings, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So to start with, what are your thoughts on the principles of Nitishashtram and Samarpanshastra? You have been a living legend to both of them, and we thought that nobody else but you would be able to throw some light on this from your experience, from your thoughts. Over to you.
Thank you, Saurabh. Please treat me as one of the students like you. Don't go by the introduction, and I'm like you, still in the learning phase. So, as I said, Nitishashtram, we're all very fortunate to be Indians because we inherit great tradition, Sanskruti, Parampara, which has been in our bloods. We all know about Vedas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and even the great warrior Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who ruled the empire by adhering to the Nitishashtram. So Nitishastra for me is a science of morality. It gives us strength of being a righteous and living a ethical life. It is very much relevant in any field you work in. Maybe it is governance, maybe it is philosophy, maybe it is leadership, and maybe it is human behavior. So Nitishastra is a part or should be a part and parcel of every breath of our life, which shapes our life. It makes the world just, equitable, and harmonious. So, friends, while we go for higher learnings, we should never forget about the treasure that our country and all these Vedas and Upanishads have given us, and we should try to live life with all these Niti Shastra rules. That is very, very important for everyone, and that has been the guiding force for me also because of my family culture, the friends with whom I lived, the school, the primary school in my small village where I took my education up to 7th, and the teachers there. I'm always grateful to them because they founded my career path, and that is how I'm here in front of you. And that is because of my teachers, friends, professors, I have been able to traverse this journey.
Thank you, sir. And just to mention the place he comes from, now what a better way to give back. He has gone back to adopt that village, look after the entire skill development, look at creating entrepreneurs to that village. And he extensively works towards the welfare of not only that place, but this area surrounding that entire place, which is remarkable on your part. Which kind of brings me to my next question is, how do you see the relevance of Nitishashtram and Samarpanshastra shaping your personal and professional life? If you could help us understand a little bit, probably give us an example, or whatever you're comfortable with.
Basically, as I just mentioned, I am here only because I not only believe in Niti Shastra or the Samarpan Shastra, but I feel that it should be practiced day in and out. And that is what I have been doing throughout my life, throughout my career. And this has shaped my life in the sense that because of these qualities, I could meet the giants, maybe in the industry, maybe in the social life, maybe in the educational life. So all these people whom I got an opportunity to meet, they have further encouraged me and made me confident that yes, you are on the right path. To mention a few, I've been very fortunate to compare a program where none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was the chief guest. Likewise, I met many industrialists in Pune whom I could interact for hours. We all strive to meet big icons, industry icons. And because during my college days, I was associated with a student movement, I had an opportunity to meet Rahul Bajaj, Abhay Firodia, Arun Firodia, then the Pramod Chaudhary of Praj Industries. You name a big industrialist, and I have met them. and I had developed very good relations with them. And their thought process has further molded my thought process, and that's how my journey has been encouraging day by day.
That is profound, and that probably adds a lot of information, a lot of knowledge to my own thinking of the kind of work you have been able to do. So that brings me to my next question. Looking back, how would you describe your journey so far through your own lens? When you look at yourself in the mirror, I'm sure there will be reflection, and you would be thinking about how the journey has been. Where did it all start? And what were the pivotal moments? I mean, you spoke about a few of them, Dr. APK Abdul Kalam, an inspiration to a lot of us, to industries and to other social and political space as well. What were those pivotal moments? So I think we would love to know about your journey and then probably pivotal moments as per you, which changed the course of your life. So probably that's the next question to you.
Yeah, as I told you, if I had to narrate my journey, it would be in four parts. One is my primary education up to 7th standard in my native place, which is a small village nearby Karnataka border. And there, as I said, I was involved in every activity that school planned besides the classroom teachings. So my teachers there, they looked at it that I participate in every activity. And that's how my confidence from those days and the kind of direction my school teachers gave me, that was the first thing which started shaping my life. So I always owe to my school teachers who were very much dedicated, and therefrom I shifted to Pune for further education. Then high school education I took in Pune. Those 3 years were very bad, I would say, because coming from a small village to a big city like Pune, where there were language barriers, communication barriers, transportation barriers. But again, my elder brother, who brought us here for further schooling, he gave me a great amount of confidence, and I could get mixed up in that culture also. Pune is known to be a very pure Marathi speakers city, and the place from which I come, that is a mixed Marathi come Kannadi, Kannada. There is a so first 2 years I was very much scared of all these environment, all this ecosystem environment. But gradually I merged into this situation, and I'm happy to tell you that I could stand first in the school by securing 82% marks in SSC exams. That's how I overcame the rural and urban differences. Then obviously my goal was to become a chartered accountant. So I took admission in next Madia College. Then myself and my brother went to take admission in Madia. The principal, Sir Mr. Dulkar, who was supposed to be one of the great educationists. Those days, scoring 75-80% means you are sure to go for science, then go for either engineering or medical. So, looking at my percentage and my desire to seek admission in commerce, he asked me, have you come here wrongly? So, I said, no, sir. I have come here purposefully and took their admission. And therefrom, I think it was a turnaround story in my life. I came in contact with one of the very patriotic students' organization, I became the member of that, active member of that, and 11, 12, I passed out. Then I started my own business because it was clear in my mind that I should not be completely dependent on my brother for my educational and other needs. So immediately after passing out 12th standard exam, I started with a small business of supplying stationery to industrial houses. No background, no knowledge, only confidence was there, and that helped me a lot. Along with that, I started also doing a job with a company where I met my companion. He's an engineer and he was working there already after passing out her engineering. So that gave me an insight that I'm not comfortable in doing any job. So I started hunting for newer things in business. And then came across a sick unit in plastic molding. Somehow that news reached to me. I contacted that person and I thought I should jump into it. But the thing is, I was not knowing ABCD of that plastic molding. So I requested the man who was in trouble that you should be with me for at least 6 months, teach me what is what. I will pay for that, and then only you will exit. And that was a grand success for me because after 6 months, we developed around 6 to 7 our own products, considering the industry needs. And we were supplying across Maharashtra and Karnataka, and our unit was working 24 by 7. So that was a unique decision jumping into a business. Meanwhile, I completed my graduation, I joined for CA articleship. And while doing all these things, my business was continued. I was very active in the student organization. I took admission for MCOM also. And I was managing all these things because there was a inner voice that you should keep yourself engaged and you can do it. That kind of inner voice was always there. So all these 4 5 activities I was doing simultaneously during my college days. Then slowly business activities increased as per the demand of time. I switched over to then renewable energy, then to consultancy. Then I was a director of a infrastructure company which is having a turnover of around 700 crores. And I was director finance there for 25 years. This company, 2 years back, we had a Guinness World Record of constructing 75 kilometers of road in 105 hours. This is a Guinness World Record. So this was a great event. And CA I had continued. I completed my intermediate. I passed out all the intermediate groups, but then the other pressures, the other engagements did not allow me to complete CA. But then, based on the experience in infrastructure company, I was seeing a lot of conflicts in that infrastructure space because infrastructure projects are awarded by government and the private participants were executing those. In between in 99 2000, government of Maharashtra came out with a PPP policy, public-private partnership, because government was not having funds and there was a huge requirement to connect the villages and all networking of all places through roads. But because of budgetary constraints, it could not happen, and that's where the PPP model So 2 3 years, I went through all the experiences of PPP, and I decided to register for PhD on this topic only, analytical study of PPP projects, because there were a lot of conflicts. Government tenders were not foolproof. There were a lot of infighting between the contractor and the government. Bankers were not comfortable to finance these kind of projects. There were a lot of problems in maintaining tolls. So considering all these things, I thought I should study this and give some important inputs to government as well as banks. And I registered with the Savitribai Phule Pune University, and I could complete it in next 4 years while carrying out all these activities alongside. And I'm very glad to tell you that this was the first PhD on the topic in the entire country. None has done PhD on this topic. So government of Maharashtra got benefited because of various inputs I had given. They appointed me as the consultant. Later on, NHI also appointed me as the consultant. And I'm happy that I'm still with government of Maharashtra, NHI giving inputs. I'm also happy that most of the nationalized banks which were willing to fund these kind of projects, I prepared a financial model through which their finances will also be secured and the contractors would get the finance. So most of the banks, including SBI, I'm consultant to them also. And this particular PPP, and later on it shifted to HAM, hybrid annuity, where certain portion is given in the initial stages and rest of the amount is given in next 10 years or 15 years. There also I played a very important role in government of Maharashtra. And 2018 they came out with this policy. I helped them frame that policy, and they could build around 10,000 kilometers from 2018 to 2020. So that was the journey from my school days to this level. And in between, of course, I was engaged with that student movement activities, wherein there were a lot of personality development camps, then Shamanubhav cities, where we go to a village and do a work for that village, maybe cleaning of the uh, small dams, then Swachha Abhiyan and all those. I kept working for that organization. That organization gave me, I think, Samarpan, what the topic we are discussing. My school days, yes, Samarpan, confidence building was there, Nitishashtram was there. During my college days, I think Samarpan was the most important thing which I learned. And because of that student union movement, my entire life changed. I was a part of national agitations like Kashmir Bachao Andolan, when in 1991 there was a huge exodus in Kashmir. We students from colleges from all over India, 10,000 students had marched towards Kashmir in Srinagar to hoist our Tiranga where it was burnt. Unfortunately, we reached up to Jammu, and there from the police sent us back. But these kind of activities I was engaged, and from these kind of activities, Samarpan is what that we could learn.
Thank you, sir. This is an incredible journey, and you're talking a few things. The thoughts are cluttered right now in my mind. A few things which I picked up were immense gratitude to what you've experienced in your life. I mean, it started right from your primary teachers, your gratitude towards them, to every person you would touch in this journey. I think so. Gratitude has been one of the strong, I would say, attributes which came across in the last 10 minutes of this your journey. Second, I think, friends, looking at uncharted territories. You mentioned about exploring areas where he never had experience, but he had the confidence. I think that is what we need to look up to. We always say that, oh, I'm not sure if this is the right place or if this is the right way. But I think unless we do it, we'll not be able to realize whether it's the right thing or not. I think that's the second, learning out of this journey is, exploring the uncharted territory. The third, which is very common again with all of us, right? We say, I mean, we don't have time. We do so many things. But listening to what you've been narrating, and I'm sure there are many more such initiatives, activities which you are part of every day. Feels like there's a lack in our thinking because we always talk about like I don't have time. Oh, this is very time consuming. I have my work as priority. I've got my studies as priority, and probably I'll not be able to do X, Y, Z. But then a holistic approach, a eagerness to contribute is probably another learning which I had listening to the last 10 minutes. My next question to you, this looks to be also successful story. This looks to be also beautiful, very rosy. What is your view about failure? Because we are very scared of failing. Because a lot of time, many of the times, we think of the result. What will happen if I do this? What if I don't succeed? What is your view on failure? And with all humbleness, did you fail ever? And if you did, how did you look at that failure and what did you do?
The only thing which I had decided and could not do it or complete is my CA. So that is the only thing which I can say it as a failure. But otherwise, I think time management, as you said, is very very important. And you can do lot many things if you inculcate a habit of planning your timetable on daily basis. See, I always say that busy man always finds time because he knows what slot is available with him. So that if anybody asks for, when Saurabh sir called me whether you will be available on 1st of October, I said give me 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes seeing my calendar, I said I will come. So everyday planning is completely mapped either in my diary or in my calendar so that I know where I can devote some time. Where is the time where which I can dedicate to some other cause? So managing the time is very very important, and unfortunately we waste a lot of time because we don't know what to do. I have time, but then I have no plan before me, so I just keep on playing with mobile, seeing TV, or some other things. So time pass. So our time is very precious, it is very valuable. We need to understand at this stage only. And we should utilize every minute for productive use. We should gain out of that time. Otherwise, there is likelihood that we will lose the track. So failure, you ask, that is the only failure. But fortunately, because of the ecosystems around me, that is my friends, my family, well wishers, they have always kept me on track because I see them. I'm not a full-fledged person, okay, but I don't see something is lacking in me. Disable, I totally disagree with that. I have disabled that this. I am able person. That is how everybody should think. Nobody should think that something is not with me. See, if something is not with me, that is a 10% of my whole body. And that is with every general person also. So you and me are alike. So why I should try? I should not try. Whatever 90% I have, I should explore that 90% and live my life. So that has been my thought process. I never complained about anything. I tell the students not to complain about anything. Nobody has got 100% with them. But whatever you have got, you are fortunate enough to have a admission in a college like this, which is talking of out of syllabus like Nitishashtram and Samarpanshastra. So you are fortunate. No other college students are getting. So we should thank ourselves, our parents, that they have given this opportunity to learn in a college like this. So complaining, crying, this is not with me, that is not with me, that makes our life miserable. And I have never done that. I have never done that. I don't treat myself something different from others. That is the main fundamental thing in my mind which has brought me here.
That is absolutely incredible, Dr. Hildebrand. And I think you did speak about something which you are not able to achieve. But I would say, of course, the support ecosystem is always there. But as an individual, we need to identify that. And probably your journey helped us understand how can you bank upon what is available with you and make the best use of it, right? So, one territory you are not able to go to the finish line. But then looking at the entire financial modeling as a concept which is now adopted by nationalized banks, I think there's been far more reach of what only a degree could have probably enabled, right? I think that is a perspective which I carried through this. And I think friends, we spoke about this topic, right? Or this particular thing that something is missing in me. I think when we hear people like Dr. Raymond, that gives a different perspective to what we exist for, right? We've got, and I say this in a lot of my talks with students, or as part of my organization. I work with Craft in India. We are the leading mobile gaming company in the country. And as part of being a responsible gaming company, we keep saying this in our different talks, right? That focus on what is available with you. Focus on what you can impact. It is easy to say that I don't have this, but can you not focus on what you have? Isn't the time in hand much better than the time which is gone? You cannot get the time back, right? But then, if you're able to refocus, if you're able to focus on Niti, if you're able to focus on Samarpan, then probably the time in hand can be utilized in a much better way. And probably, the last bit of this answer, from my perspective, how do I look at time management? How do I look at the time in hand? Is what is my return on that investment? The time which I'm going to invest on any particular thing, what is the return I'm going to get? It could be, in terms of my knowledge upgradation. It could be towards fulfilling what I'm aspiring to, or it could be towards a larger purpose. If I'm able to figure out what is the return on that time I invest, then probably, I'm comfortable to invest that time. That is how I have looked at my own time management or my own time prioritization. Because with the support of my organization, I have a crazy travel schedule. But with all of this, I'm able to spend time for myself and come and be part of such sessions, which probably bring energy back into me. And of course, you've got I've got a very supportive family who lets me do all of that. So, with that, so I've come to my next question, which is, what's a small habit or a routine that always brightens your day? And probably if you can give us a little insight into your day, how does it start? What all things you do? Would love to know that.
Before I answer this, you mentioned about ROI, return on investment. Maybe it is money, maybe it is time. I always say that the biggest capital or the biggest asset in my balance sheet is my friend circle. Secondly, self-respect is one thing which is very, very important. We should not compromise with self-respect. I'll just tell you one example. When I started my business after passing out 12th standard exam and started earning something, So I approached the college authorities and told them that I will be paying my full fees. I don't want EBC facility. That those days that EBC facility was available for economically backward class. Immediately after started earning, I approached college authorities were also surprised, but I said yes, I have decided and I have enough money to pay the fees. So somebody else who is really needy can have that facility. So that is about self-respect. You must have a self-respect. Unless and until you respect yourself, I think you don't expect others to respect you. That is one thing. About my time schedule, you asked a question. It starts from around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it ends at around 11:30, 12 o'clock. Of course, 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'm not doing any gainful job, but some reading. Morning, I have an exercise session, my own physiotherapy, then Sudarshan Kriya, then the Nitishashtram and what culture we have come into. Then Ram Raksha daily, chanting Ram Raksha on daily basis for last almost more than 30 years. This was taught to us in my school days, and not a single day I missed that. Then Ram Raksha is there, then Ganpati Akravasis is there, then Mantra Pushpanjali, all these in the first 1.5 hour. And then only I pick up my mobile. I give this mobile to my daughter in night at say around 10, 10:30, and she gives me back next day at 10, 10:30 after completing my this schedule. So that is one thing I have kept myself intact in all these activities. Then 10:30 onwards, I have a food and get out of house for either my office where I am in the office for my carrying out my business activities for 3 days. I have scheduled 3 days in a week. Then one day in a bank where I am chairing the bank, which is a 3,000 crore mixed business bank having a jurisdiction of entire Maharashtra. Is one of the most disciplined banks known in the cooperative sector. So I devote 1.5 hour half day for the bank. Then remaining 1.5 day for our institutes, COEP, other colleges. And that's how I enjoy the life. So that these all different type of activities keep me very much alive. No boring, no same kind of activity, so kantalo kind of things never come to mind because every time there is a new activity, every time I meet new people, and this Bhau Institute has given me a lot of insight. Lot of young generation have their ideas in their mind, and to take their ideas to next level to help them commercialize their product is a passion for me. During my student days, as I said, I was associated with the student movement very actively. I was also in charge of Pune city. So we had a unique activity called DIPEX, Diploma Exhibition. The students in diploma, they are supposed to do a project in their final year, project model. So we started exhibition come competition of these models. It was a 4 day, it is a 4 day event. And therefrom we capture the good models, we nurture these students and give them hand holding and see that their idea is commercialized. That activity is going on for last 34 years. And for one of such silver jubilee competition come exhibition, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was the guest for courtesy. So these kind of things I always try to engage myself in these things because I get a great learning from the people I meet. Here also now, so many personalities who are working in different fields. Definitely, I am going to benefit out of it. The one of the purposes of going to such colleges, last 1 month I have been to 8, 9 colleges. Entrepreneurship is my passion, and I go to many colleges on motivating students for entrepreneurship. Last week only we had a great Udyojakata Prerna Shibir at our native place, and there were around 250 participants going taking education in diploma, vocational, and ITI. So we gave a good insight to them. Even if 4, 5 of those participants decide to go for any business, any entrepreneurship, because nowadays jobs are getting less and lesser. So encouraging students during COVID also, I encouraged a lot of people to go for business through social media. I had almost 20 lectures, and I motivated a lot of young generation to go for some small business, because COVID, though it was an adversity, I always treated it as an opportunity. So friends, keep in mind that adversity is, there is a opportunity in every adversity. So don't cry on the adversities. That is how my timetable is, and that is why I am live.
Thank you, sir. I think you decided to break lot of our starry perceptions about time, about life. And I think these living examples are definitely giving me goosebumps. Because probably, this is giving me realization that, oh, there's so much to be done more. And there's so much which can be done. And I think to all of you sitting right in front, right? This is again, I'm sure it's piercing through your own thought process of what you can do. I've been fortunate to be exposed to what Bhau Institute of Innovation does. And it's like a big brother in the incubation space, with very distinctive ability to influence startups in a way that you bring your dream to life. And I think Dr. Nirmal's vision and contribution in this journey, not only through Bhau, but through his different social interaction also, is pretty inspiring and setting a role model to all of us. So next question, you've obviously given us a lot of examples of what can inspire people like us. But what is that one quote or saying which you tell yourself always to stay this lively? What is that quote which will probably cheer you up always? When probably I'm sure and there would be times where you would be thinking that, oh, probably I want to pause. So some thoughts on that.
Basically, the one word which keeps me going is be positive. I'm never nervous on any. It's a maybe for a time being I may get nervous, but immediately after that I come out of that situation and start working on my daily routine. So be positive is the mantra which inspires me, and that is how I am just traveling along.
Well, that is fantastic. I mean, positive outlook, optimistic approach, what best is in the situation. These are all things which we probably could carry from what you have to say. I've got still a lot of questions, but probably with your permission, we can take a 5 minute pause and let the audience also have an opportunity to ask you questions, and then probably we'll resume our conversation. So, do we have any questions from the audience? Yes, we already have some questions. Can you pass the mic?
My name is Praveen Day, and I am from a second year student of Agri Business Management. So I have a question that we have a strong ethics and values that it makes a conflict in management if I will join a global corporate. So if they have a strong values and ethics with integrity, so it can make a conflict with the management or goals or objectives.
I think you'll have to be a little loud. You probably didn't get
Please
it.
come forward.
Or you come forward. Agriculture.
Hello, sir. My name is Praveen Garge and I am from second year, student of IT Business Management. So I have a question that if tomorrow I am going to join a corporate, so if we follow the strong values and integrity, so it can make a conflict with the management or regarding the objective of
It is not necessarily that you will have a conflict with the management, because basically when you try to imbibe the values, ethics in the colleagues you are working with, that will form a great team working towards a goal. So you will not have any conflict between you and other guys. So obviously, the result you will be giving will be much more than what the management expects. So that is the fundamental, that what management expects ultimately, that whatever targets are given, whatever you are supposed to do for the company, if you are able to do that by building a good team, definitely management will be more than happy with you. I have experienced this. Even in bank, see basically it is about setting an example by yourself. If you are in a position to set an example by exercising the values and ethics, the others will also attract, and you have to influence them. And once you influence them, definitely the outcome is going to be much more effective, much more than the management expects. So I don't see any conflict. Now in a bank where I'm chairman, I'm not an employee or I'm just elected chairman. So when we work with 400 odd employees, what we try to do, we cannot interact with them. I go once in a week, so how I can influence them? I influence them by my work culture. I set an example, and that is, it is always a top-down approach. If I set a particular pace and style of working, that is copied. If it is a good one, that is also copied. If it is a bad one, it is also copied. So you have to decide how I can motivate and take along all my colleagues. So I don't think there will be any conflict with management. Management will be more than happy if you perform as per their desire.
My humble submission. Obviously, I'm still a corner in front of what Dr. Kiran said. 18 years of people journey. I can only tell you that you will attract what you want to. You will attract people in the same space if you really intend to. 18 years of this journey, I can tell you, wrong is wrong. Even if everybody is doing that, it's still wrong. That's a principle I have followed in the last 18 years. And I can put my hand on my heart and tell you that there's been no failure. There's always been 1-0. It has never gotten to be of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve for myself as an organization. And the organization will never put you in a fix. It is the influence which you will have to the surroundings. So as an individual, if you have your ethics, values, your need is very strong, you will only attract that and you will be able to influence. I can tell you with small 18 years of experience I've had. We have one more question. I think you have to come in front.
Hello sir, good afternoon sir. I am Yuvraj Kale, student of the Agri Business Management. Sir, as you told about the Nitishashtram and Samarpanshastra, and one of the best example of time management. To provide a practical example of how to apply. Samarpanshastra has been to create sustainability for personal or professional life.
As per my experience, Samarpanshastra, because you are ready to give up something or something good, right? So that creates your own value, and because of that value creation, you attract many more things, opportunities. And I think Samarpan is always helpful to gain a new things, to learn new things, because if you stick up to a particular thing for years together, after some time you feel that I am doing something nonsense. So give up that, take up a new challenge, work on that, build a team, give encouragement to colleagues. So that will always help you to go ahead instead of being stuck at one place, one station. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, panel. All my students.
Yeah, we can hear you.
What is the value of time? Like, how can we manage time in the corporate world? Like, we are stepping forward in corporate world, approximately 3 to 4 months. How can we manage our time from being a professional?
Value of time cannot be quantified. It is immense, first of all. And managing time, as I said, you have to have a roadmap before you. Either it is on daily basis or in the curriculum you are going through. Everywhere you have to fix your roadmap. And in order to achieve that roadmap or to travel that roadmap, how you should delegate your time, available time. What are the important activities for which you need to devote your time? That is very, very important. Time management is in your hand. You know the priorities. You know where you need to concentrate, where you need to focus. And in order to focus on the issues you have decided, you need to devote time. So it is entirely in your hand to manage the time. And as I said, time has a great value which cannot be quantified. So we should see that at this age only, we should be managing our time wisely, not wasting the immensely valuable time in which we will gain nothing but just waste of time.
One question in the front. It's been. You can ask your question.
This money. As Meenakshi said, there are 3 pillars of this task: consistency, dedication, and productivity. My question revolves around consistency. So, being consistency became easy when we are getting things. But there's a point when we don't get anywhere and we don't reach anywhere. So, and we are a management student, so we have to take everything into consideration before investing our time. So, what is the best course of action when we are facing any?
Very good question, because consistent behavior is the one thing which I am not finding.
I think Madam has answered your question. Because, see, you go for anything, consistency is very, very important. Once you have chosen this course, you have to be consistent in your studies. You have set a goal by getting admission here. So to reach that goal, you have to be consistent because you must have thought before coming to this school, before getting admission to this school, and that can get succeeded only when you are consistent. So consistency has no alternative, I suppose. Right?
And I think he mentioned many of the examples where for the last 30 plus years he's been very consistent with his routine. See, I think it is what I learned, right? It is the approach towards what you really need to invest your time in. He spoke about some slogas and stotras he's been reciting for the last 30 years. That is consistency. And I think as human beings, we need to get into the habit of doing things. And I'll give you a small example of myself. Reading was never a forte I had explored. I used to be always bored of reading. I used to feel कि यार क्यों पढ़ना है? ये बुक्स क्यों पढ़ने होते हैं? स्टडीज इंजीनियरिंग है, कहाँ से पढ़ेंगे दूसरे बुक्स? But then someone learned like him, like Dr. Hilbert, once told me that reading books is very important. You will not believe, I started getting into that habit by reading fiction books. Chetan Bharat was the first author I read all his books. And that's where the habit got inculcated. So much so that today I have fights with my better half. Why do you read so much? And why does your day end without reading? And now we've got an amazing thing in our hand, right? We can use it for a better cause. Where we can use it to read, to learn, and probably make best use of our time to build that habit of being consistent. So they always say take a small step and make sure that you take incremental steps in that journey.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Rafi Rao from India. Sir, I have a question. Can you tell me a few techniques about doing Samarpan? And sir, what practices you follow for doing that?
So basically, assessing yourself at every stage. After assessing yourself at every stage, you realize that a particular thing which you had decided to go on, you have reached that, and now there is a stagnancy. So there, you can think of leaving that particular thing and entering into a new area. There is no technique. Actually, you have to assess yourself whether you are happy with whatever you have been doing for years together. Do you want to do something new? Do you want to give something back to the society? Do you want to make efforts to uplift your colleagues or those people who are in villages, downtrodden areas? So that is how you can just keep on thinking, and it is you yourself that you have to assess and take appropriate steps about Samarpan.
We'll take one last question and then probably I'll go back to my role. I think you've been consistently raising your hand. Yeah. He's been waiting for a very long time.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself Gokul Goldane. Sir, many times in corporate lives, we face some critical situations. In that, how Nitishashtram helps to take a decision making, helps in taking decision making.
Nitishashtram tells you about moral, ethical life, right? So whenever you face any problem, these qualities, that is ethical or moral, leading a ethical and moral life, uplifts your confidence, that gives you a confidence. And then I think probably you are inspired or your thought process starts thinking how to get out of the problem. So Nitishashtram always keeps you on right track, right? So you have to remember those qualities of Nitishastra, and that itself will help you how to come out of the situation. Okay?
Other ethics and values, we say, when do we realize that we are doing something ethical and full of value? Is when nobody is watching us and we are in a dilemma whether to do this or that, which is one thing is good and one thing is bad. That is always easy. Believe me, that तो बहुत ही आसान हो जाएगा. उसका result बहुत फटाफट होता है. When nobody is watching you, what is the decision that you are taking and what are the actions that you are taking defines your character. That is what is ethics and what is value. So whenever you are in a dilemma where doing right or wrong or क्या है, believe me, your values will be played or will be demonstrated only at that point in time. जब मुझे आंसर दिख रहा है, मैं फेल होने वाला हूँ और मुझे वो आंसर दिख रहा है, मैं तो लोगों को यही बताऊंगी, ये एग्जाम्पल दूंगी. जब तुम वो नहीं देखते हो और सिर्फ बोलते हो कि चाहे मैं फेल हो जाऊँ, let me learn from that. That is where your ethics and values live, and that is your moral character building. So,
thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi, for putting a beautiful example. Thank you to the audience for asking questions. We can park those questions for later time. I come to my last question for this hour talk. And of course, I don't feel like letting you go because the pearls of wisdom are just they're coming along, and there's so much to keep listening to. What are the key advice you would give to all of us for maintaining a sustainable success? And can you give us some mantras what have helped you in this journey? So your advice to us, how do we make sure that we are sustainable? How do we make sure consistency is a key? And how do we really become selfless? Your mantras.
I think I follow and my icon is none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. As I mentioned, I could meet him twice in my life on one-to-one. And he has inspired my life to a great extent. I have read all his books. By the way, I have almost 1,200 books in my own library. And when I was telling you my daily routine, before I go to sleep, I read at least 15-20 pages for half an hour at least. So he is a great inspiration to me, and I always stand Panchastra. He has narrated in one of his speeches. And that Panchastra, like in the morning I chant Ramaraksha, I always remember this Panchastra as daily once at least. And that I would like to tell all of you. He says that the first of that sutra is, I am the best. Say, I am the best. Don't underestimate yourself. That means, I am the best. Second is, I can do it. So that kind of attitude, that can do it attitude is very, very important in everybody's life to get success. So I can do it. Third, he says, today is my day. What does it mean? That means every day is my day. Meaning, whatever I decide to go for on that day, that thing will be done. So whatever objects you may carry while going to the college on that day, that will be fulfilled. That kind of confidence you should build in your mind. So today is my day, that means every day is my day. That means 365 days are my days. Next is God is always with me. So it does not mean that the God sitting in the temple. It means the people surrounding me who always think of good about me. That means the teachers here, Saurabh and all these panelists, they are here to guide you. Your parents, your well-wishers, they are all like God to me, and they always wish good for me. So that kind of attitude, approach you should have. So God is always with me. And as a result of all these four things, the fifth one is I am the winner. That means whatever I have decided as my career, I will win it. I'll achieve that. That means you are the winner. So friends, I think this Panchsutri has also changed my life. And you should all definitely chant this Panchasutri once in a day, which will definitely change your mindset. So shall we say once?
Yes.
So first is I am the best.
I am the best.
I can do it.
I can do it.
Today is my day.
Today is my day.
God is always with me.
God is always with me.
I am the winner.
I am the winner.
So let everybody sitting here be the winner. I thank you, Saurabh, Nancy Madam, and all of you for giving me a teaching listening. Thank you very much.
Were incredibly life-changing, gave a lot of perspective. And I have a very favorite quote which I always tell the students. And I think you are a living legend for that quote, which was खुद ही को मैं बुलंद देखना खुद ही को मैं बुलंद देखना कि हर गलती से पहले खुदा को बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है बता तेरी रजा क्या है. I think Dr. Nagenda, you might be a living legend for this. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure and honor to sit next to you and understand your life journey. And I'm sure, just like me, many others have found inspiration. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Saurabh sir. Thank you, Rajendra sir. It was such a lovely, I mean, the last few moments of the entire discussion really brought goosebumps to me. After so many years of experience that I have myself, hearing such lovely words and such powerful words really gave me goosebumps. And I feel there is so much to learn and so much to see and so much to observe. A big round of applause to sir. That in spite of any hardship that you face, you can be so much successful just because you have certain qualities in you. What I differentiate between a successful and unsuccessful person is, in spite of all the challenges and all the advantages that you have, is the set of qualities, the skills, the mindset that you have. Believe me, यही होता है जो एक अच्छे इंसान और बुरे इंसान को कवर होता है. What is the kind of thinking that you have? That will take you much ahead, like how sir and all the other people are doing. So thank you so much, sir, and thank you for having such a lovely discussion, such an insightful discussion that we had. We have another panel discussion right now. Wherein we have a lot of speakers who will be discussing certain thing which is again very very difficult to manage. मेरे कहना बहुत आसान है. ये बहुत चीजें आसान होती है, आसान नहीं होती है. So the panel discussion that we have right now is mind and heart and how to cultivate a resilience. अब ये चारों चीजें सुनने में बहुत आसान है. Resilience का तो शायद मतलब नहीं पता होगा. Okay. Mind and heart and how to cultivate the art of resilience.
So ये माइंड और हार्ट जो है ना, दिल और दिमाग, ये तो बहुत लोग बहुत ही यूज करते हैं, मुझे पता है, मैं रोज में दिल का मत सुनो, दिमाग का सुनो, right? So all these things keep happening every day with your mind and heart, and how to become resilient. Resilience मतलब चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, जैसे उसका part consistency कैसे भी हो, कैसे सबसे बड़ा consistency की problem रहती है। तो every day morning में लोग योगेश कह रहा है, बस पाँच आप नीचे लिफ्ट में हो, ठीक है? जब लोग ऐसे लिफ्ट में होता है ना, सोचने बहुत अच्छी लिफ्ट में। So that is how the thing is. So how do you cultivate that? So we have some experts who with their life experiences will be discussing. Again, कुछ भी question है, आप hand भी raise कर सकते हो in between भी, हम लोग वो question को भी put forward कर देंगे. So we have with us Pallavi ma'am, Madhav sir, Smita ma'am. You guys are kindly join for your insightful संस्कृत की सारी चीजें युवराज सर हमको सिखाते हैं. Thank you. Big round of applause for them. Make this overview this morning. Next. Students, do you need a 2 minutes break or something? Because I will not be giving you any as I've asked. So guys, we are not going to bore you. So after break, how many coming up? Okay. So let answer is so do you want break? Because I'm not giving it. So I'm asked also and I'm not giving. I have done my duty of asking, but then I'm not listening to you. So students, we have, as I said, I can't do that. Take those to that. So I say no. So mind and heart cultivating emotional intelligence or emotional resilience. So why is this topic so important? और तुम्हारे लिए मैंने यही टॉपिक क्यों चूज किया है? There are like thousands of topics that we could have discussed under Nitishashtram. Something which is very relevant and which is so often seen from you all is, you have all the qualities, you have all the skills, you have all the advantages, you have all the backing from your family and from the college and from various other people that you know. You have everything. You have the finance, you have the, you have all the things which are required for you to become successful, and you know that. Okay, but there are certain things which are pulling you down. मतलब बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसमें से एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है माइंड एंड हार्ट एंड हाउ डू यू बिकम रेजिलिएंट. कभी हमारी चीजों में हम इतने ज्यादा डूब जाते हैं कि हमको यही पता नहीं कि सही क्या है गलत क्या है. माइंड कह रहा है कुछ, हार्ट कह रहा है कुछ. माइंड ऑलवेज गिव्स अ वेरी रैशनल थिंग, हार्ट गिव्स अ वेरी subjective थिंग कि नहीं यार मुझे तो ऐसा नहीं करना है. एंड हाउ डू यू बिकम रेजिलिएंट? इमोशनल quotient जो है of the youngsters is becoming very low. And the situations are not very easy either in the corporate world, which everybody would agree to. Things are not very easy, things are very dynamic, things are not very fair. When you get out into the corporate world, घर में सब कुछ हो रहा है बहुत fair होता है. With friends also everything is fair, but once you approach the professional world, things are not very fair. How do you hold yourself? How do you hold to your mental strength and your values, and take the right decision, which is also in balance with the mind and heart. Now that is what the topic of today is, mind and heart cultivating emotional resilience. So I would, Madhav sir, ask you the first question. You can share some thoughts on this topic for 2 minutes. And then I will ask the question is, how can the principles of Nitishashtram that we are discussing today help us in building the strength and the resilience in maybe all parts of our lives? And how do you cultivate emotional resilience? And if you can throw some light on what is emotional resilience and how do you, how does mind and heart play a big role in that?
Thank you. Anyways, you have already heard everything from the university. Dr. Sahiman said. I'll just try to touch upon some of the things, maybe more from the practical aspects that we have been encountering day in, day out. Okay? So, as Nitishastra is nothing which is new to you. These are the things that we all kind of encounter every day. So, for example, things that are covered in Nitishashtram, things like Dharma, Utsaha, Satya. Is it something new to you guys? Yes, no. We all feel, whatever decisions we make, whatever actions we take, should it be Dharma driven or Satya driven or something else? Dharma and Satya, right? That is what we always try to do, right? Are we able to do that? Okay. So the only reason why we are in dilemma, and that's what Meenakshi sometime back also said. We usually get into a dilemma like this, and the easier path which appears to us is what? Okay, कोई नहीं देख रहा है, let's do it. Okay, and that is where the whole thing goes away, and that's where consistency also goes away slowly because कोई नहीं देख रहा था, and these become those small talks. And these small talks, once it actually starts becoming, a habit of taking the easier path, you don't even realize that you have actually gone so far away from all these basics of Niti Shastra, right? There are some other factors to Niti Shastra like Shama, okay, and son, what kind of son that you have with what kind of support systems. Doctors have actually mentioned about his majority of the strength that comes to him is from his friends. That's a kind of support system that you have. Support system can not be just friends or others. And it can be in the form of mentors. It can be in the form of your mentees at times, right? So these are some things that you have to actually be dependent upon. How actually how do you follow the basics of it? Now, ma'am, what was the second part of the question?
So what is, how do we cultivate emotional resilience by balancing your mind and heart?
Yes. So, now when you actually go to the corporate world, when you step out of this educational system and when you step into the corporate world, that is exactly where you have to face this dilemma of, how do I fight with keeping my basics alive? There was a question asked by one of your friends that, okay, will I get into a conflict if I am actually kind of integral or I'm trying to follow the values of, the basic values? I just quote a small example. If I ask you who, according to you, is one of the best, most ethical business leader that you have heard of, the answer comes without any without any thought. It's Ratan Tata. Now, and this actually boils down that okay, fine, the Tatas are like this. Now, when I work for Tatas, imagine would I be actually so easily leaving the basics aside? I'll not be able to do that. So basically, it's all about a culture that has been developed over the ages. So if I want to build these values, build the emotional resilience, build the way I have to follow the basics, it has to happen over the years. You have to kind of develop those habits. And how would you be doing that? Probably things like you'll have to follow things like selflessness. Okay, things like gratitude, having that gratitude towards things that, and exactly what Dr. Saab said, in his session also. The kind of gratitude, you would have seen that he actually left no one who impacted his life in paying gratitude to him or her during his session, right? That is the kind of gratitude that if you are able to develop that is something that would actually help you, develop these kind of habits, these kind of, resilience. Now, the other thing is that the basic that you have to follow is how do you maintain the balance between the heart and the mind. Now, I have to actually, let's say, for practically I'll quote an example that happened in one of my company's projects. Okay, so we had to deliver something, and we were kind of very short in terms of time, and things actually went haywire. A person left, and everything happens. Unfortunately, during these project deliveries, everything happens at the same time. Somebody will forget, somebody leaves, or there's some big problem in the project, and then you have the delivery sitting on your head. And unfortunately, to top it up, your customer is a very close customer, that particular customer. Okay, now, and you are the leader of the project. Okay, so, and this is the exact time when people start saying, "अच्छा तूने सारे credit लिए थे, अब इसका भी credit आप ही को लेना पड़ेगा," right? And that is where you, as a leader, you start thinking, okay, fine, there's going to be a big mess for me if I don't deliver on time. And what will happen? People will say, he's not a good leader. He didn't deliver things on time and this and that. And that is the situation that I was in at one point in time. And then I had a choice to do some patchwork because, tomorrow morning the delivery is there. And if I do that patchwork, things might be able to hold till the time the demo is going on. And the moment demo chala jayega, is sab ghir jayega. The choice was yours. In fact, to the matter of the fact, if you go back to the management and tell them, sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes even the management will say, manage the customer, will see it later. Sometimes even that happens. Okay. And that is the exact time where you have to actually, and this is the time where it's a testing time for you. Okay, what do you do with, when you are faced with such a situation? I was in big dilemma what to do. Patch it up, save my job, everything is okay, all good. What I did, I went back to the team. I said, okay, fine, you know what? We have this small time of next 1 week. We are far away from this. It's going to be almost impossible that we deliver with the pace that we are doing. Let's pour ideas and what do we have to do? Let's do it. And we started with that. And when we started with that, everyone gave their submissions. Okay, fine, let's do this, let's do that. There were around 20 deliverables that we had to do. We came back and we said we'll be only delivering 14 out of it. But we'll do it good. The team actually got gung-ho about it. They said, okay, 14 is something that we'll deliver, but it was my job to go back to the management and customer and convince them, okay, fine, we're not going to deliver 20 now. We'll only be delivering 14. This is just a info that we are giving you. It can't change now. And given the current circumstances that we have. To our big surprise that Karu's customer said, fine, I'm okay with that. As long as this is actually a good delivery. We said, fine. We were able to deliver it in time. Those 14 deliverables. What did we achieve out of this whole thing? One, what did we achieve? That was simple. We did deliver all 20. So the credit wasn't the way it should have been. But what did we achieve was, one, we delivered on time what we committed. Second, the kind of cohesiveness that we had in the team, right? The team had that feeling of, they didn't have the feeling they didn't deliver the whole thing. But they had the feeling of winning that, okay, fine, we committed for me, we delivered on time, we were bang on and the delivery happened. So, yeah.
So, I really like the line that we saw. And then he was facing a dilemma of, what to do, but there is a right thing and there is not so right thing. Maybe that is not completely wrong, but not so right, So there is a dilemma. That is where your mindset and your values come into play. As a person that you are, what do you think is right? And believe me, when you throw in front of the world that this is perfectly right, everybody knows what is right or what is wrong. ठीक है तो जब सामने देख रहे हैं कि कन्विक्शन बहुत स्ट्रांग है गुडविल बहुत स्ट्रांग है तो सामने वाला भी मान लेगा दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस बट वो करेज नहीं होता है टू टेक द डिसीजन बिकॉज़ you will be looking as a failure but you are not a failure at that point in time but a very interesting and interesting thing that I would want to do and I would throw that question to Nalini जैसे मानव सर ने बात की there was a situation where the management wanted that delivery to happen He was facing a dilemma because it is absolutely not possible. There is a prototype or a patchwork that I can show to the customer, get away with the situation, and then let's do it. So that is also fine, you know. The काम तो मैं after obviously saving करते हैं. But then his true nature that he brings, and which is what again I face as a person, you know, which I will be asking a question where, you know, certain times when you don't agree because your values and ethics are so rooted to certain things, maybe right, wrong, whatever. But ask certain things को फिर conditions से believe करते हैं. ठीक है? So then that side or that thing, एक तो अपना पूरा डीमन के साथ फाइट करो, आप इंटरनली की क्या सही है क्या गलत है, और फिर सारी दुनिया के साथ करो. How do you manage that? He managed by saying maybe he didn't have a higher authority that he had to address, or maybe he had. But when you face a situation wherein your values and morals are coming in the way of maybe the way your higher authorities want the work to be done, but after many days, then how do you tackle that situation? Maybe that is where again the emotional resilience of your mind and heart would come into picture.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking this question. I was just trying to going back, to the past of my corporate life. And guys, believe me, this is not a hypothetical situation which I'm talking about. It is the reality which has happened in the past which have faced myself. Right. Amazing situation when I came across. It was a business reason, a proper business reason, wherein a post assignment was given to me. I had to sack 750 employees of my organization. I do not take the name of the company, but that is happened to us. And it was a shock of my life. Unfortunately, I have been appointed as the head of, you can say at that point in time, I was heading the HRBP function for the same business vertical, and I have been given this assignment. Now the question was in front of me, the people with whom I'm interacting day in, day out, how am I going to face the situation? Right? And trust me, the day I got to know about it, I couldn't sleep entire night. It was the first time in my life that's ever happened that office has come to my home. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything to my better. I said, I'm now able to sleep, that's it. He was able to understand, could be, she's not very good. Till morning, I was just still thinking, what am I going to say to all those 750 guys? How am I going to handle the situation? On one hand, the reason was true, I know what's happening in the business. Right? If we are not going to action on that today, tomorrow these guys will land up in having another job. How? That was a question mark. Right? So my journey started with selecting few of them. Right? So of course there is a plan. There's always a strategy, right? We all work, right? And strategy, we read it in the books, believe you guys, when it comes to the execution, it is a headache. Let me tell you, and I'm sure all of us will agree to it. Because that's the reality, right? I'm not talking about machine. I'm not putting a button on and saying, okay, fine, I need 800 pieces to come out from this machine. Believe you guys, this machine will also, say, I need a break. It will get each other, right? Eventually you have to stop it. After a certain point, you need to again restart that engine and it will not work. In our case, we are human beings, right? And we sometimes really need to play with the brain and heart of the people. That's where the exact heart and mind dilemma starts coming in the picture. I still remember I was talking to one of the person who was the toughest subject for me to crack. Believe you me, I gave one challenge to my manager saying that I am not going to sack anyone. I will ensure that all of them are resigning by themselves. I had only 10 to 13 cases, 4 cases which were started with that particular incident which were going on for years together. That's about to open, that is about to happen. But another challenge was in front of me that has to happen in complete isolation. There was no media publicity which has been done. So when you are new to the people, gaining trust and winning heart of the people, that's part one. Another part is how we tackle the situation. And the first incident I was talking about, getting post resignation from post employee, it took me around 3 hours, 45 minutes to get the resignation from that person. We all were sitting in one of the meeting room, right? and all other people were standing outside. They were just waiting for the news to come out. Okay, fine. At least if I were to crack one person's mind, one person's brain, then I think we are true. But our assumption was wrong. We were able to. I'm proudly saying. Why I'm proudly saying because I took at that contingent. So as I said, when I landed in the next morning office, I was clear in my mind. I know it is going to be emotional turbulence for me as well and for the individuals people who are going to deal with. But that is what my emotional quotient was telling me. Hey, Kaleri, I'm really going to do the right thing. But my mind came into the picture and it said to me, it is a part and parcel of your job which you have to execute. You really don't have a choice. You have to do it. We found another way, right? We kind of were able to pick up the good people, we put our personal connects, we put it into another job. We did that. But this is what exactly is called as, a turbulence between the emotional quotient what you have and the reality of life. We were able to overcome the situation. This exercise was going on for around 7-8 months. And last month, I got a call from the toughest guy to whom I deal with saying, yes, I can tell you of that person, his name was Hari, right? He said, ma'am, when the job का था आपको क्या चीज़ मुझे do? At that point in time, I slept quietly saying that yes, I did my job. I'm going to tell you another part of it. I finished this exercise, right? One business vertical, 750 employees, taking them out of the job. Was that exercise? I was also equally disturbed, right? It's not that very easy to have conversations with the people, letting them know, hey, this is what the reality is and this is what best we could do, right? My second inning started with the same organization when I had to call the people and say, there is another business vertical. Believe me, these guys were afraid of getting into my cabin. मेरा नाम सोलह बोलते नहीं, मैं आपके पास जाना ही नहीं. I said, boss, please, that was a part and parcel of my job which I finished. Right now, I'm going to support you. Earlier assignment, I supported you, equally the management. Here, I'm still the same. And again, gaining that trust back with the same kind of people in the same organization was really difficult task. But I was able to do it, and that's what I think the strategy happens between both. Right? And that's a real time example which I'm giving is not ever happened. Nothing built up, no stories at all about it. Trust me, I have 750 stories to talk about. Because each and every individual has a different situation, different situation at home. Few of them have kids, few of them have responsibilities, liabilities, and how you deal with them. So that's emotional turbulence. And I think this is the time where you will start learning these things. And this is the school, right? This is the thing. And that's where Nitishashtram is going to be a very important role in each and everybody's life. And that's the reason at the starting of the session I said, this is something which will build the foundation very strong of yours. Everything will start building upon this. At any given point in time, there should not be any compromises done with your values, with your own core systems, with your own stuff. Do what may comes. There is that 3 years. All is well. No, nothing. But all is well and no holy. But काम करते जाओ. Success, right? Sorry to use this word, but that's what the truth is. You just have to work. It's a process, right? Success is just a byproduct of it. But you have to follow the process. You have to follow the process diligently, and that's where your Samarpanshastra will come into the picture. Whatever you do it with 100% devotion. Trust me, success will be yours. And in your life, you being the students, right now your goal is to study, to learn, not to work and not to buy. Learn those concepts wherein you will be able to implement them in your personal approach all the time. Thank you.
So, Karen, a very interesting part of your experience that I could see was that, there are certain things. Just like lack of right to learn or what you are not. And if you but after every reasoning, everybody's everything is in the shades of grey. So this is basically the shades of grey, wherein hard to say that starting 750 people is not right. Okay? Obviously, starting anybody is not right. But then there is a mind. It is dharma. So महाभारत में भी लिखा है, जब अर्जुन बहुत शिवर कर रहा होता है, बोल रहा है कि मैं अपने सामने लोगों को मारने वाला हूँ. How can that be a right thing to do? You know, how can killing anybody be right? मैं जीत के जाऊंगा, मैं सब साम्राज्य जीत जाऊंगा. What is good in that? तो कृष्ण भगवान ने कहा तुमको अपना धर्म करना है. You don't have to see what is right or what is wrong. What is your dharma is something which you have to do, and that is where dharma means your duties. You have to do certain duties. So, as Nitishashtram said, this is the duty as an HR person, managing the entire organization. You have to do what is your duty. Your heart can play a different role. You can be very nice to that person, or you can take care of the person. You may relocate that person, but that's the hard part. But what is your duty is right. So that is where this person so Nitishashtram teaches you what is right and what is wrong. हमको नहीं पता होगा क्या सही है क्या गलत है. दिल और दिमाग बहुत दोनों प्ले करता है. But इस सिचुएशन में आपके वर्क के सिचुएशन में what is right is your धर्म. आपका जो ड्यूटी है आपको वो बिना सोचे समझे करनी है. So that is what is basically the concept of Nitishashtram help you in taking decisions. So पुराने शास्त्र लोग पढ़ने को ना, their mind is very strong because they don't get carried away by heart and all of these things. That is their characteristic. So what about your views on where do you really say this dilemma कि heart है और mind है और मैं क्या right decision लूँ और क्या wrong decision? How do you emotionally take, how do you cultivate strength by having all these values and principles we can learn? तो ऐसे हो सकता है can your character become very strong by learning the principles. आप एक strong person बन सकते हो.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. I think it's a great question. I think all of you are a great listener. First of all, thanks to all. Been listening from last 1.5 hours. See, I'll tell you currently I'm working with a company Internet of Time. As the name suggests, we are in finance rules. The today's economy what is all about AI driven. So we are into AI machine learning and dealing with the machines. All of our employees completely hybrid, completely remote, 100%. I have not made most of my employees, but as referring to the question, it's been challenging to get them on camera as you are to get them here. This is a problem with my students also. Yeah. So, but then I'm coming to that how we have overcome that. So, we have linked the core values and principles in the organization to the performance management system. Because very few companies will do the performance assessment based on the core values. First of all, if we ask at the time of joining, all of them knew about the company culture, core values, principles. But when it comes to evaluation, it is like, whether these guys are inviting those core values in their day-to-day work by taking management with the teams around. So we actually implemented that and it's successfully going on. So getting to the people on camera and getting to the emotional factors, why they are initially half 90 to 10% ratio is male and female. So I'm struggling to deal with the senior leaders, especially node and the city. But then there are different challenges in terms of they reading their minds, what is going on. So what we primarily did is that we created different framework. How do we ensure that the positive work culture within the ecosystem of virtual work environment comes into place? So we started getting under the call every week by default, including the managers and leaders, they will be part of the call and talk about the good things, right? What you are actually implementing in terms of how you are dealing with the mind and emotions, right? So basically, each one of us are eager to be either very focused towards your health, right? We are health conscious. All of us are health conscious. But we never focus on the food that we eat. So in that line, so we have focused upon the core values and principles, and that really helps to get into the success how the return on investment of this core value principle converted into the performance of the systems. We already have 1% of addition as a so far, and that is one of the success, the positive impact inside of that particular impact.
So as a value and as a culture, yeah, you definitely yes.
As you actually rightly pointed out, ma'am, if we stick to these basics, right, the basics of Nitishashtram, it becomes extremely easier for you to make decisions. The problem is the dilemma, right? So consider Pallavi ma'am's example. Okay? She didn't have a choice. I mean, still, hard saying, sacking anyone is never an easy thing. You know, and the problem is, she is only, as in the HR person, is the only person who has to take the brunt. मैंने आपको सैक किया है, आपकी सारी बदबू है मेरे को ही लग रही है, किसी और को नहीं जा रही। डिसीजन इनका था मैनेजमेंट का, लेकिन अगर मैं सामने से आके कह रहा हूँ कि आपको जाना है, तो सारी बदबू है मेरे को लगती है। और 750 लोग, मतलब अगर फर्स्ट वाला पे ये चीज है, ठीक है? So that is what the problem. But then, you know, you stick to your basics. You know, you go back to your people, you tell them the truth. See, many times you would have faced this with your parents as well. Okay, so, you know, when you do something not so good, it comes out in front of your parents. आपके parents एक ही बात बोलते हैं, अरे बता तो दिया होगा. 100 times it would have happened. Okay, the easiest thing is be truthful. If you are truthful, the trust is there, and if the trust is there, you know, transparency is there, and transparency comes automatically. If you follow these basics of, I mean, this is what Nitishashtram, right? You follow these, and the decision making becomes easier. You know, you don't fall in this fight of heart. हम सबको पता है क्या सही है क्या गलत है, right or not? Cheating. कोई कह सकता है कि चीटिंग इज ओके, इट्स अ राइट थिंग. मुझे नहीं पता, आप अगर बोल दो मुझे नहीं पता था चीट करना इज रॉन्ग और इसलिए मैंने कर लिया, मैं माफ कर देंगे. मुझे भी पता है कि वो गलत है, फिर भी मैं देख रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुझे डर है कि मैं फेल हो जाऊंगा. राइट? सो यू नो, फॉलो योर बेसिक्स, दैट वुड हेल्प यू. दैट्स इट.
Thank you so much, Anand sir. Thank you, sir. So, Yuvraj sir, I'm assuming that you are got into scriptures and you understand this concept. I don't know, but when I hope you know the scriptures and you know the concepts very well. So, कल ना बहुत interesting, मेरे यूट्यूब पर उसको एक किस्सा चल रहा है, तो वो somebody went to Karnan. So, I think topic is not about that YouTuber. So, first time I observed Karnan, I don't know if you want to know. So he would be a very learned person on the ancient scriptures and all that. So taking a decision from for him was so much very easier because he had some scriptures backing his thought process, which are very strong, which is established and which is there. You know, like for example, Nitishashtram, those topics, those pillars are well established. You know, अगर आप उसको follow करोगे तो आप नहीं falter होगा decision making में या आपके character में या आप किसी चीज में. जैसे वो कंसिस्टेंसी भी तभी आएगी जब भी एकदम बिलीव है तो वो कंसिस्टेंटली वही करोगे. आज ऐसे किया फिर कल ऐसे किया, आज नाम को लगा कि 750 लोगों को ज्यादा लगा, ठीक है, कल गए और मैनेजमेंट के साथ फाइटिंग करके एक्सैक्टली करके दैट इज नॉट अ कंसिस्टेंसी. बिकॉज़ जब पता है कि घर को कहना है और आपको नहीं करना, तो अगले दिन भी अगर आपके पास सेम वैल्यू आता है यू टेक द सेम डिसीजन एंड द सेम स्टेप. ओके, सो यू नीड टू दैट इज कंसिस्टेंसी. So everything that we talk about is not a problem only. उसका pillar वही होता है, धर्म होता है, सत्य होता है, all those things. So do you think really that will make these students' character very strong if they follow those principles? And have you seen that in your personal life? So the principles that you stood by that made you emotionally very strong, और ऐसा कोई situation है जैसे एक student ने कहा कि अच्छे टाइम पे हम राइट डिसीजन ले लेते हैं, बुरे टाइम पे राइट डिसीजन नहीं ले पाते. You know, you are not consistent when the time is not right, and that is where your character is being tested. So, what are your views on that?
Okay, thank you, madam. I was expecting such kind of question, something very close to the topic and meaning of it. I come to talk about it also. So, and first, I just want to address the students for one, for the topic that we have, and why we keep such topics, or what we intend to do with such topics. You have way past the age where someone go and draw A and B into the blackboard and tell you that this is A and this is B, or a teacher go and draw 3 lines in a specific formation and call it a triangle, and then you take it as it is. You have well past that age. Now you are in an age where there are dots, 3 dots, and you can draw a triangle yourself, right? But you are still at an age where you are yet to explore the larger part of the career per se or the life. You're preparing yourself for it. How to do that and how does such things help you out in it? Before that, I'll just give you a verbal diagram, if you draw yourself in your head. Your environment, your upbringing, your surroundings, they define your values. Values are something that comes automatic to us. They come to us by our surroundings, our family, friends, anything. So, and that is very personal, very exclusive to everybody. Each of you will have different values. Values define your ethics, and your ethics derive your thought process. Your thought process defines your behavior, and your behavior defines your actions. Ultimately, leading to the action, to the outcome you deserve or you desire for. Okay. Nitishashtram is a set of policies. Niti is what? Niti is policy, and Shastram is a study of policy or rules that we define for ourselves. If suppose we have those things with right intent, right set of rules, and then we will have the Nitishashtram, the study of Niti is at its place. And then Samarpanshastra. So Samarpanshastra, so we had a long discussion today, and suppose when someone was talking to and he said, I submit to you. That word a couple of times. And then Sun talked about his inner voice. I will connect those things. I will connect Samarpanshastra there. Submission is what? Submission is Samarpan. He submitted to the person whom he is looking forward to. And sir, when he was talking about inner voice, he submitted himself to his inner voice. And then he was talking about working, doing multiple things during his college days, which he never even thought of. So he submitted, he was very dedicated. So again, dedicated is a word which is very close to someone. You can relate that word earlier. And then you also from values right throughout that diagram until your actions, you can relate to someone everywhere. And then leading to the positive outcomes that you desire for. That's what I believe is all those things, these age-old words, these are not a set of rules that we have to follow. These are formulas through which we set our own rules, and then we all get different outcomes in life. So this is how we suppose we have the right intent, right values, we have the right actions, right behavior, right ethics, and then we get our outcomes accordingly. That's what I believe. And talking about personally, it is very difficult. It's very easy to say things which I say. Very easy to talk about values, ethics, and other things. But the truth is, I learned about these things a few years back. And I never knew. So when I was talking to somebody, he was talking about it to me. I never knew about my own values. And by the time we ended the discussion, I realized customer delight is one of my values. And then I spoke for and then I realized this how my career has been, my work has been. Customer delight is something that I work with. One of my values, and that those things define my actions accordingly. And so it is about the thought process. You have to think, you have to realize what are your values, and then you will realize you act accordingly. You think accordingly, and then the outcomes are accordingly.
So your answer you said it very nicely that we follow certain principles. So students, हम बहुत सी बातें कर रहे हैं, but उसका कुछ ना कुछ outcome भी तो निकलना चाहिए. So then what you will do is you will really think about yourself. What are your values that you really believe in? क्या है आपके values? Because हर किसी की character, हर किसी की personality is very different. So what are you? What defines you? What values define you? What character defines you? Just write it down, and really stick to that. If it sticks with the old ancient philosophy, please stick to that, and that will जो बोलते हैं नैया पार करा देगा, वो आप नैया पार करा देगा. So, Bharat sir, question to you is, जैसे मैं सोच रही हूँ यार भगवान से प्रार्थना कर रही हूँ, मजाक कर रही हूँ कि सबको बहुत ज्ञान दे, सबको बहुत बुद्धि दे, सबको बहुत कैरेक्टर दे, सब कुछ दे। ये ना मेरी लाइफ आसान हो जाएगी ना, सब अच्छे होंगे तो मेरी लाइफ अपने आप आसान हो जाएगी। अपने पास मेहनत नहीं करो, सबको बहुत ज्ञान दो। सो चैलेंज क्या होता है ना कि हमको तो सब पता होता है या हमको लगता है ये सही है, बट सामने वो चीज नहीं आती वो बिलीव करते हैं। There are a lot of people, everybody is at an evolutionary stage. I feel, you are at this evolution stage. Somebody is at this, somebody is like this, somebody is just starting. तो ये तो किसी का खून करना भी गलत नहीं होगा, ये तो अलग जाके दो चीजें so evolutionary stage. So maybe you're surrounded with people where or management or whatever, where the evolutionary stage of the person is different. इस जन्म में एक हो सकता है इंसान बहुत सारे जन्मों से उसका evolution different होगा. How do you face this challenge when you have to compromise? Both of you made a compromise. मैं धर्म करूँगी और मैं आपने बोला कि मैं उसी. Now where you cannot do what you really want to do, whether your dharma or whether your mind or heart says, and you have to do something very different. How do you face that challenge and how do you overcome that using certain principles or values which you believe in?
The practical answer to this would be yes, I can do that. So, but I'll tell you, as I said, you try and stick to the basics, the decision making becomes easier. Okay? So situation was, I had to take a call, and I said, okay, fine, be transparent. Actually, not exactly getting the right words, but then, putting yourself in a scenario where, so let me quote an example. Okay?
How difficult it is for you to be transparent, sometimes we try to hide things. How difficult is it or how easy it is, and has every time the situation of you being transparent or you being, true really helped you?
No, it hasn't helped. For sure, it hasn't helped many a times. Okay, but then that actually pays off in the long term. It definitely is.
But you have been successful. शायद मैं ये दम जीत गई पर मैं थोड़ा वॉर जीत गई होगा. I lost the battle but I won the war.
Yeah, so it's exactly like that. And as you guys also pointed out, it is not that we are in this situation since our childhood. These are some things that we have learned. We have learned all this. As I said at the start also, there's a experience of 200 plus years over here, and the best part for you is to learn from the mistakes that we have done in our lives, our careers. So that was just to tell you, please learn whatever you can. So to get back to the question, ma'am, it's very difficult many a times because particularly okay, I'll go to another example. We all are from recruitment background, we understand recruitment. Okay, so many times when I try and hire somebody, and I know this particular job is a strenuous job, and I'm trying to hire you guys for this job. Okay, and I know people who have been in this job had got frustrated after some time because there's a lot of micromanagement or there's a lot of stress in terms of time and everything. Tell me honestly, will I tell you, Raj, who's not selected for this position, that this job is going to be that difficult?
You would not be transparent.
I mean, it's going to be tough, right? Because when I go back to my boss and tell, boss, we should tell you, Raj, that this job is going to be difficult. And the only one sentence that my boss says, okay, fine, you can do that, but tell me one thing, थोड़ा घास से आने लगेगा तो खाएगा. अगर मैं युवराज को बता दूं कि ये जॉब इतनी टफ है, he never accept this job, right? And this is exactly where my basics kind of stops me. Okay, fine, if I am actually getting him without telling him, it's exactly the same scenario what Yudhishthira faced in Mahabharata. अश्वत्थामा मारा गया, नर या कुंजा को जब तक बोलते तब तक शरीर बच गया. But the intent of that sentence was a lie. So it's a lie. And that was the only lie linguist actually has said in his own life. Correct? So the intent was negative. And if I'm not telling my candidate, and this is just an example, if I'm not telling my candidate the truth or I'm hiding the truth, that means I'm actually kind of lying. It goes in that category. So what should I be doing? I should either lie and compromise my principles, or at least I can give him some idea about it, because you know what? This kind of job usually attracts a lot of pressure. You can decide for your own. You know, many a times it happens because it's a lot of, the job is very impactful, very important. There are a lot of people who are monitoring this job. So I'm trying to tell the person that, okay, fine, you know, you will micromanage. Okay, you'll be under the scanner also. So I'm trying to tell that. But this is the least that I can do. See, again, it becomes easier for me to actually take sides. If I don't have principles to follow, then it would be very tough for me to take sides. So that is what I believe. You know, you have something there that will make you, that will be very helpful. Long term, this will helpful. This has helped me a lot. I'm telling you, many a times, many people have come back to me and say, "Hey, Manav, aap kaise ho?" मैंने कहा, "यार, I'm sorry, I don't even recognize you." So, but then probably I've done something good for them selflessly. I forgot, and somebody comes and says, "Hey, you know what? We think you would be a right person for this. Would you be interested in it?" As simple as that. And how did this come through? I didn't even take any efforts or anything for this, but this has come through only because I did something in the past. I'm not sure उसने मुझे उस reason act ने मेरे लिए कुछ positive उस टाइम पे किया नहीं किया, but after let's say 3-4 years, 5 years, or 10 years, it came back to me in a very positive way. So that's what I would say.
Definitely, I think it sums up that no matter what, whatever situation, you should not lose your principles. You should always do what is right. Must be the most difficult thing to do. But as you said, very small thing of चुप रहना भी एक झूठ होता है. आपने झूठ नहीं कहा, पर अगर आप चुप रहे और आपने सच नहीं कहा, तो भी वो झूठ ही होता है. So maybe you know every small bit of that is very important. We are running out of time. I could have held this discussion till the night. You know, but then we have to come out. So I would request all the panelists to finally give 2 words of whatever goes of wisdom on this topic that you want to share. You know, that may be very helpful for the students.
Okay, so I'll just continue the thing that I was talking about previously. It is about 3 dots. You will have 3 dots in life, or if suppose you get a chance, you draw 3 dots in life, and the person who is going to sit in front of you or you are there, you know, it's our own perspective either to draw 3 concurrent lines and draw a triangle, or 3 parallel lines and then going all 3 different directions. So it is so such things, such scriptures that we're talking about, they give us a perspective, they give us a direction. It's about us how to take those things, how to define our actions, and then ultimately achieve what we are looking forward to.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have been a very confident person. That's not I'm saying. That's what the people who make me busy because
My answer is saying yes.
no, I'll give you this. Okay. So I'm coming from the professional standpoint. So the reason being is that I've never been worked in a gray area. Either it is white or black. And I've been consistent on my stand for last 17 years. Let me reiterate that I have been consistent on my stand, on my principles, on my ethics, on my values, consistently from 17 years, which includes the experience which I talked about 73 posts. Why still they believe me is, I was one who went and I had a fight with my manager saying that whatever commitment you have given to these 73 people, there is no compromise which will be done with those 73 people. Right? And I struggled, right? And I went back, kept my promises with all the 73 folks, and that's where I still remember me, I still remember each one of them. That's not one. Another one is I will go little ahead of what I'm saying because there will be always a situation, external force which will consistently take you to the things which are not supposed to do. Just think what I'm talking about, right? Every day, right? There will be something which will come on you. External situation or could be internal situation which probably will happen. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Right? There is something which is internally, in the soul, which will tell you, don't do that. I will give you an example. This is water, okay? Category here. No one is saying this all. Carrots in here. I want to take this water, but this water doesn't belong to me. I have two options to choose. One, take it, leave the ball. Second is go back, ask for it politely. I need to drink water. Can I take this water along with me? Do you think after asking the question, anybody will say no to you? You will suddenly get answer as yes, please take it with me. I've always chosen the second path. And that's where today, before anything comes back to me as a part of the leadership team in my organization, they think twice. इसके सामने बात करूँ भी या ना करूँ? It starts right from there. And then I get into the fight and arguments if required. My first question is why? Why do you expect me to do it? What is the outcome of it? And again, there is a business analogy. There is an emotional analogy because it involves people always. Right? I'm a strong believer of having the people and maintaining those relationships for a lifetime. I don't know my friends, but once in a 10 years, 7, 8 years, they call me and we talk to each other as if we are talking about a long time. There is this person sitting next to me. I don't think so. We keep on talking to each other, but when we meet, we talk to each other as if we talk to each other every day out for hours together. Right? And that's what the relationship is kind of, you need to build it. And that stands true in your personal and professional both the ways. The only thing where you need to have limitation is when you have to cross the line of being professional in a professional environment, and that's very difficult to choose. Because when you work with a particular organization for years together, you will end up in having a friendship. But your role will suddenly stop you, and that's you who need to realize when you need to really stop and take the next step. One more thing which has happened in my existing organization is when I joined the organization, it happened in my own team, right? And I'm proud to talk about it. Each one of my team member was looking out for a job change. Was not please. This is what. Please, okay. Each one of them was looking out for a job change. Believe me, right now it has become a healthy dilemma. I have become an engine. Wherever I go, this I will call you. Right? That is the trust which I was able to gain not from them and from the management. And believe me, whatever experience you are in, you are always in under the servant's camera. Situations are always given in front of you, you are getting tested every now and then. So you really need to realize where you are getting tested, where you need to really stop, where you need to go ahead. Right? And what right thing you need to do for yourself and for the organization. You have to strike balance between both. Most partly बहुत सर्कस है. सर्कस में कभी समझ में आएगा वो कैरेक्टर जो किरदार आप निभा रहे हो, वो आपको कैसे फुलफिल करना है, तो समझ में आएगा जब आप खुद को स्टडी करोगे. When you start understand yourself, right? And as I'm saying, you need to be so much strong in your own values, and it is no compromise to be done on my part. People should actually have that respectful fear around you before anything comes back to you. These are the 2 cents from us.
Actually, so I need to talk about a couple of things. Whenever any situations comes to my life like this, I never blame to somebody else, right? I usually follow the principle you are the leader for yourself. So in the same scenario, now you are in college, afterwards you go to the corporate world, you need to be accountable what you are doing, you need to be responsible, also you need to take own safety and reliability. Nobody will going to step by you for
for own creation of your thoughts, core values, and principles that you follow when you work around the people. These days I have been focused on a lot of in terms of self-actualization, self-talk. I myself give 20 minutes every day, not to talk to anybody, be in the room and just be silent and talk to my breathing pattern. So this is a principle which has helped me to be very patient enough to handle the situation as you was rightly saying. I did come across the same incidents, but that too with senior leadership across 10 people in one group. I'm not naming company, but I ran into the same scenarios which has faced. So always say to yourself, I totally believe in a given kind of attitude. At last, I would suggest like any situations you comes to you, right, be it easy. You should be thankful and be grateful for the situations that comes to because ultimately from each situations we learn each another something another which will help us in future. So be accountable for yourself and self introspection is something which will take you across the industry because that's how you create your own brand. As Dr. Rajan has created his own brand, and we are really proud to meet him in person. Thank you so much and great inspirational stories. Thank you, madam, for inviting us. Thanks, Saurabh. Yeah, it was wonderful discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists. I mean, it was very exciting. Also, just looking on the and there is another session which is started at 2 o'clock. Some have got lectures, some have got other sessions which are at 2 o'clock. So you all gathered in the respective and thank you so much. I would thank Saurabh sir for conceptualizing this and bringing Nirmal sir. Your words were very inspirational. Students, a big round of applause finally for you can have more such sessions where you can have wonderful interaction with them also because that is very enlightening to do. Thank you so much. Students, may discuss for the lunch.